What is up everyone, Hero276 here and welcome to today's video and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be featuring a triple flying team in the Jungle Cup Great League Edition. This team has an Altaria on the lead and Skarmory and Talonflame in the back. So you're probably thinking that the strategy here is to bait out the Lantern so that way it doesn't wreak havoc on my backline. And you're absolutely correct in that assessment. I found a lot of things that are countering Lantern, like a Whiscash or perhaps any grass types or Razor Leaf users. So this team honestly functioned very well. I went 11-2 using this team, so very good results. I would recommend it for this format, but definitely not in an open Great League setting, but you'll see the battles, you'll see them play themselves out. We'll have a 5-0 set as well as 2 bonus battles. But before we dive into all of that, please be sure to check out my Spotify page where you'll have access to the music in this video and other videos. You can buy my albums there for just $4.99, and if you don't want to spend money, I totally get it. You can follow the page, it's completely free, and you'll be able to stay tuned for uploads and new releases. That being said, let's dive right into today's video. And we are starting today's video off with a very positive lead Altaria into Toxicroak. My opponent here is going to switch out into a Lantern, and I am very delighted to see this. The whole team does quite well up against Toxicroak, but Altaria is my only response to the Lantern. I can Sponge a Thunderbolt in case it is the Surf Bait. I decide to let it go through, and I'm able to get off the Moonblast. Moonblast here will do some considerable damage to the Altaria, putting it in a range where we can farm it down. Opponent is going to go for the Surf. That's not going to be enough to KO, and we get in a nice Dragon Breath farm down. Toxicroak could come back in and counter down, but Toxicroak is fine anywhere on this team. I send in the Talonflame. Talonflame doing lots of damage here with these Incinerates. I let them move through, thinking it's the Mud Bomb, but it's unfortunately the Shadow Ball. Talonflame does get farmed down. I send in Skarmory and we get the Steel Wing farm down, and in the back is a Bomb of Snow. And from here, the win condition is pretty straightforward. We're going to fully fast move down the Bomb of Snow, and we can let the first Weather Ball go through as they're still going to need 3 moves to KO. And that's totally fine as I have 2 shields. So I shield up the first move, they're able to get to another on just a sliver of HP, but that's totally fine. I'm going to shield this up and the Steel Wing went through, so the Abomasnow will go down and we take the win. Hopping into the next game, picking up a lead Altaria into Pelipper. What I like to do in this matchup is farm up to the Sky Attack and look to catch the move, their Hurricane, onto Skarmory where it will be resisted. They did farm up to the Hurricane, they were button mashing, and I get the call correct. Opponent is now going to send in Obstagoon. Obstagoon is going to throw a charge move. I can survive any move from this range. It is the Obstruct, so a good no shield on my part. Gonna go straight for the Brave Bird. Brave Bird would do a lot here. Opponent is going to respect the damage output, and that also gives the Obstagoon less farm. From here, Talonflame hasn't seen the field much, so I'm going to use it and get some value out of it before the Pelipper comes back in. The opponent throws straight away, giving me a full Incinerate for free. I let the move go through. It is a Night Slash, and from here, I should be able to survive another Night Slash. I really don't want to shield in case it is the Obstruct. They do full send 2 Night Slashes, and from here, I'm not quite able to get the farm down, but I do reach the fly on the CMP tie. That's going to KO the Obstagoon. Opponent sends in the Pelipper. I switch an Altaria, and in the back, they have Shadow Victreebel. But Shadow Victreebel has absolutely nowhere to run on this team. I am going to shield up, but I'll be able to get the full Dragon Breath farm down. It is the Acid Spray, but I have 2 moves here, and Pelipper is basically energy dry. They can't get off a charge move. Pelipper just does not have enough energy to win this game, and with all of my stored energy on both of my remaining Pokemon, we're going to be able to win the game. Hopping into game number 3, picking up a lead Altaria into Vigoroth. With access to Rock Slide, Vigoroth can give Altaria and Talonflame a little bit of trouble, but with shields, it's actually quite manageable thanks to the counter resistance. So opponent is going to go for a charge move. I do not know my counts. I thought it was just a Body Slam, but it is a Rock Slide, and that does a lot of damage. Luckily, Altaria is very bulky, and we do survive it. Unfortunately, I lose the CMP tie. A bit of a misplay on my part, but they only threw the Body Slam. That means I will be able to get off this Moonblast. Moonblast does a lot, and I switch in the Skarmory to Steel Wing down. The bad news is, if they have a Lantern, I'm essentially cooked. So here's to praying that there's no Lantern in the back. Opponent is going to send in a Talonflame. I'm going to go straight for the Brave Bird. Opponent calls the bait, and they lose basically their entire Talonflame. From here, I'm going to let the charge move go. Skarmory has done its job. I'm going to get an Incinerate head start with the Talonflame, and in the back, they have Greninja. So it's not the Lantern, and this means it's playable, especially when the opponent gives me an entire fast move for free. I shield up the Hydro Cannon, gonna go for the Fly after one Incinerate, as I have to throw on absolutely perfect timing. Opponent is going to shield that up. I wait the 3 turns, switch into the Altaria, and get the catch of the Hydro Cannon. And with that catch, I should be able to win the game. Gonna go for the Fly, once again throwing after an Incinerate. This should grab the final shield. The opponent should be able to make one final move, but I have a shield to hide behind, and I'm at the next Fly. So as long as my opponent doesn't have the back-to-back, which they do not, I will be able to connect here with the Fly and take the win. Hopping into game number 4, picking up yet another positive lead, Altaria into Talonflame. Altaria is going to be able to resist the Incinerate pressure here, and it's very bulky as well, so it manages Talonflame really well. The opponent will be going for a charge move. I will let it go through. It is the Flame Charge, and that's going to be resisted. I wait until just before they make it to their next charge move to throw my Sky Attack. Sky Attack would pressure a knockout, so I get a shield from the opponent, and I switch and catch on my own Talonflame, which should be the Flame Charge, which once again is resisted. And as well, I get through the Incinerate, so that means I'm going to be able to outpace here to the Fly. Fly picks up the knockout. My opponent is going to send in a Whiscash, so chances are they do not have Lantern in the back, otherwise they probably would have sent it in. Gonna go for the Fly. The opponent is going to let that go through. We're farming up, and my opponent plays to a CMP tie that they end up losing, and as a result of their greediness, they're going to lose all of this energy and be forced to burn a shield on the Fly. And actually seeing the Whiscash shield gives me an indication that they do not have Lantern in the back at all. As you're going to see in a second, my opponent actually has a Skarmory in the back. I bank a charge move for later and send in my own Skarmory. Gonna go for the Brave Bird as soon as I get it. Even at -3 defense, Brave Bird is still not going to be able to one-shot, so I'm perfectly fine with just throwing the move. Skarmory is going to get off their move, and fortunately for me, it's just the Sky Attack. The threat of another move forces the opposing Skarmory to throw, and I'm going to let this go through, putting all of my faith in the Altaria. I have to get a farm down to win this game. Dragon Breaths are resisted, but the Skarmory succumbs to the fast move pressure, and now it's just the Whiscash, and Moonblast is going to knock out and give us the win. Looking to remain undefeated in this set, picking up a lead, Altaria into Skarmory. This is not a great matchup. What I'm going to look to do is pivot into my own Skarmory and see what my opponent does from here. I'm looking to bait out a potential Lantern once again, but my opponent is staying in here, so perhaps they don't have a great response to Flyers in the back. They full send the Brave Bird, and then they send in Whiscash, so they do not have a Lantern, or they're just hiding it in the back. Either way, I'm going to go straight for the Brave Bird. The opponent no-shields it, and I'm able to get off his Sky Attack as well. Perhaps the opponent miscounted my energy. Sky Attack's gonna pressure his shield, and I'm in a great spot. From here, I could just let the move go through, send in the Altaria, and get in a nice Dragon Breath farm down. Altaria resists all of Whiscash's energy, especially now that we know that they're running Scald. So Scald, not going to do too much damage. We do not see the attack drop, and we get the full Dragon Breath farm down. What's likely going to be coming back in is the Skarmory, so I'm going to look to switch into the Talonflame. It's Vigoroth in the back. My opponent surrenders, and that is game, set, and match. So, we did remain undefeated through this set, but stay tuned because we still have 2 bonus battles for you. So we're going to go ahead and collect our rewards and then dive right in. Hopping into the first of 2 bonus battles, picking up a lead, Altaria into Talonflame. Once again, a great matchup. The opponent is staying in, and they're actually running Fire Spin. Fire Spin actually does a little bit more damage per energy compared to Incinerate, but it gets the charge moves a little slower. So as you're going to see, I'm going to play this one out going for the Sky Attack. I do correctly no-shield a Flame Charge, which is very nice. The opponent actually commits a shield, and what I'm going to look to do from here is look to shield myself. I know I can win this in all even shield scenarios, so I do shield up the Flame Charge. Going to look for the farm down, and Altaria is able to get it. We have a lot of energy. The opponent sends in a Mandibuzz. Moonblast here is going to threaten big super effective damage. My opponent shields it up. We send in Skarmory, hoping to bait out a Lantern, but it doesn't look like there is one in the back. So hopefully that means Talonflame is very safe. Going to go for the Brave Bird, and that's going to get this Mandibuzz very low. They are able to two-shot here now that my defense is lowered, so I'm going to let them empty out their energy, just no-shield it, and look to get ahead on energy with the Talonflame. So, waiting the switch clock, and then the Talonflame is going to try to Incinerate down. I send in the Talonflame, looking for the Incinerate farm down, but I'm unable to get it. But Mandibuzz's energy doesn't hit very hard. I let the move go through, and I'm still in the green. Opponent has Ivysaur in the back. My opponent surrenders, and that is game, set, and match. We hop into our final battle, leading into another Talonflame. Once again, I'm perfectly fine playing this out as the Altaria, but I do need to be mindful of my HP and any residual energy in case there's a Lantern in the back. The opponent switched in a Vigoroth, and I'm going to be able to outpace since I'm ahead on energy, land the Moonblast, and send in the Skarmory. Skarmory can tank Vigoroth's energy a lot better than any of my back two Pokemon can, but they end up baiting with the Body Slam, and that actually works out really well for me. That means I can safely no-shield this and be able to get a Steel Wing farm down to preserve alignment. As well, I have a lot of energy on the Skarmory, but I could just send in the Skarmory. I have the threat of a Brave Bird going for the Sky Attack. The opponent gives me the shield. I'm hoping to make it to another Sky Attack, and the threat of that move forces my opponent to throw their energy. Flame Charge is going to KO. I send in the Altaria. Their attack is boosted, so I might as well give up a shield. Opponent baits with another Flame Charge, and let's see. Can I make it to the Sky Attack? I overfarm. I am able to make it. Sky Attack will KO from this range. The opponent shields it up. I pivot into my own Talonflame looking for a catch. I do not get it, but I do get an Incinerate through. So I'm going to let this move go through. Flame Charge is resisted. They have Venusaur in the back, and this game's just over. I'm going to go for the Flame Charge. Flame Charge doesn't KO, but the next Incinerate will, and we take the win. Alright, and before I draw out the video, I just want to let you guys know I did officially hit rank 20. I did one more set with this team, and I ended up going 15-3, which is insane for a team that has all one type on the same team. My elo is now 2135, and I'm looking to keep pushing that and keep using this team. Anyways, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.